no one really ever excavated in this area. But there is some French excavation happened to the east. But this is a completely surprise. I called it the Golden City because it was constructed in the time of the Golden Age of Egypt, the time of Amenhotep III. And I called it the Lost City because I never expected to discover the city. Actually, I was going to re-excavate the area that contained temples of King I and Horemheb to find that the temple of Tutankhamun. To my surprise, we found this big, large city that I think it is the largest city ever found in Egypt. It contained 3 major districts, one for living, one for industry, and one for administration. We found an area for the storage of meat, and they mention year 37 of the reign of Amenhotep III. This is the third Hepsid that the Egyptian used to celebrate, and it talks about dried meat. And also it mentioned the name that the butcher, his name, and the man who was supervised all of that, his name was Kha. We found inside an area for making shoes, an area for making clothes, an area for making precious stones, and the amount of pottery that we found are really amazing. This is, in my opinion, and the opinion of many Egyptologists, the most important discovery that happened in Luxor after the discovery of the tomb of Tutankhamun.
Well, we've seen pictures of some of those items you've been describing, cookware, jewellery, the walls of homes. What does all this tell us about how people lived in the city at that time?
Actually, the people who lived in the city, they worked to produce artifacts for the temples of Amenhotep III. The city was called actually Rise of Aten, means the dazzling Aten. And the temple of the palace of Amenhotep III was called also the Rise Aten. And therefore, I really believe, number one, that the belief of Aten occurred in the time of Amenhotep III. And the artifacts here can prove that they produced artifacts for the people who lived in the palaces, and also artifacts to maintain the cult inside the temple of Amenhotep III in the area of King Tut that located to the north of my city. I'm really very proud that this excavation produced lots of artifacts that can be good for a museum.
Overall, how does this help our understanding of ancient Egypt? And how much more work have you got to do now to explore more about, to see what's there?
Actually, it helped us to understand for the first time the life of the workmen and the artisans who really worked in a big, large city to produce artifacts for the living. And number two, I really, from this coming September, major important excavation will happen to the west, because I found out that the city extended to the west. I'm really thinking that we'll find an area that contains evidence about Tutankhamun and maybe about Nefertiti, because I do believe that Nefertiti actually ruled after the death of Akhenaten. Therefore, this city will reveal to us important information about the Amarna period and the dynasty Aten, which is the golden age of Egypt.